Hey everybody, thanks for joining us on this week's episode of Better Horses TV. I want to thank Ernie and Ed for coming down and having us on the show this week. We really appreciate being a part of the show. This week, for this week's training tip, I'm going to talk about softening your horse and keeping your horse following its nose in a turn. This is a really simple exercise, but like today, I worked 6 or 7 colts that I worked on this exercise with, and I do that pretty much every day with every horse because it's really important, number one, that your horse's body stays soft, and when you tip their nose one way or another, either to the right or to the left, they need to follow their nose with those front feet, okay? Now, a little background on this mare, Reba. She's a heel horse, calf horse that we ride, and last week we had some family down and we roped a lot of steers, and she run quite a few steers last week. So this week I'm just going to soften her back up, get her collected, move her around, get her following her nose. So when I start out, I'm just going to put my legs against her rib cage and I'm going to squeeze her forward. Now, when I reach down and pick up this rein, and one other thing I want to talk about first is, in an earlier episode I talked about the German Martingale, and that's what I'm using on her today, is a D-ring snaffle and a German Martingale, just to soften her up and get her collected. And when you get your horse collected, you get them round in their back, and when you get them round in their back, they get more balanced on their hind quarter. So I want her moving forward because I always want my horse's front feet moving. Okay, anytime those front feet stop, she's going to get stuck. Okay, so when I reach down and tip this nose, I'm going to squeeze her forward. And right there, when those front feet stepped over, then I released. I want to keep going in this circle. I want her to keep moving off my leg, and I want them front feet moving. But when I reach down and pick up on that rein, and those front feet step around, then I'm going to release. The reason I release then is because if you'll watch her inside hind leg is going to plant and become that pivot point. Okay? When that inside hind leg becomes the pivot point, and she steps around with her front end, keeps her front feet moving, then I'm going to release because that's what I'm asking for. So watch her. When I come around, I'll ask her to step across. So watch this leg right here. When I come back around, watch this left hind leg. So I'm going to tip that nose, squeeze her forward. Do you see that left hind leg, how it planted and that front end stepped around? That's what I'm asking for. I always want my horse's front feet moving because in any kind of a performance event, any kind of a speed event, anytime those front feet quit moving, you're losing time. And that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if I'm chasing a calf, a steer, or you're running a barrel pattern. Anytime that front end gets stiff and quits moving, okay, anytime that front end does this, you're losing time. Okay. The other thing that happens in a turn is if that front end quits moving and their front end gets stiff like this, the hind quarter has to swing one way or the other. There's no way. Otherwise, it's going to go end over end, and that doesn't happen. Okay? So, simple exercise. But if you ever come by my place and you're watching me warm a colt up, this is what I do. Squeeze forward, step them over. Keep them front feet moving. When I feel that hind leg become a pivot point, I release. Okay? Great exercise. It's a great exercise to keep your horse's front end moving. Okay? It's a great exercise for your horse to get to balancing on its hindquarters, and it's a great exercise for a horse to keep following its nose with its body. I hope that helps you. I thank you for having us on the show this week. You can follow us on Phil Haugen Horsemanship on Instagram at Phil Haugen Horsemanship. We have a podcast that comes out weekly, Be Your Best Horsemanship. And you can go to our website, philhaugenhorsemanship.com, if you want to contact us there. Have a great week, and God bless.